Hello and welcome to Let's Play as Liberia in Victoria 3. In this game we'll try to make Liberia a dominant country in West Africa as a region and perhaps even the world. So let's look over what is Liberia like in this game. Historically it's been founded by formerly enslaved people from the United States, and that is why it is kind of a puppet to the United States in this game. As you can see, it's a subject even, not even a puppet. Additionally, it's a presidential dictatorship and the state religion is Protestant, culture Afro-American. That is to say, it's the dominant culture. Once we look deeper, we'll see that Liberia is much more diverse than that. Additionally, we have an okay standard of living. It's lower than that of the United States. The literacy rate is very low. Population is quite good for a one province minor country, and I have not much to say about the GDP. It's average in this case, given that we're playing as a unrecognized power. So without further ado, let's start. When I start the game, I try to identify the main areas where I will need to immediately improve and the areas that I want to have as sort of long-term goals. So first of all, we will have a big problem as we're surrounded by these decentralized groups of people here who are easily colonized by the Western powers. And that's not something that we like because we don't want to be surrounded by these Western powers. So first priority for us will be colonization. Now, the region in which we start in actually has malaria, and that is a huge detriment to colonization. As you can see, it takes away 90% of the colony growth speed, and that is something that we have to solve. So we'll do that by going to technology and starting to research on pharmaceuticals, as that's a prerequisite to quinine, and quinine is very much necessary to battle against the negative effect of malaria in the region. So that is goal number one. It is to make sure that we have access to quinine. And before we research quinine, we'll also need to make sure that our country actually allows us to engage in colonialism, which means that we have to pass a law that allows colonial resettlement. And that's what we'll begin with. As you can see, landowners are okay with colonial resettlement, as are armed forces. Those that are unhappy are rural folk and industrialists, interestingly enough. So what we'll do is we'll reform the government and allow the armed forces in, as them being in the government will mean that it will be much easier for us to pass the law that allows us actually to colonize other lands. So we will confirm that immediately. And as we begin passing this law, we can see we have a very high success chance. That is very different, as previously landowners would not be happy with colonialism, but I guess in this case they're quite happy with expanding their territories. So who knew? Additionally, as you can see, the landowners are like the most important, the strongest interest group in the country, and we'll have to sort that out because they want to keep hereditary bureaucrats, which is bad for us. It makes the country weak. They want to keep peasant levies. That's not a good form of military, let me tell you that. And additionally, they have rotten hearts, so they want to keep the slave trade going because that's where they get most of their power. So obviously our main political enemy, the people who are making this country not as forward as we want it to be, it's landowners. And those will be our long-term goal, will be trying to weaken them. And additional goal that we have is to end discrimination. If we go to the culture tab, we can see that the primary culture is Afro-American, the state religion is Protestant. And we have a state religion and national supremacy. That means that Afro-Americans are the only group in Liberia that are not discriminated. Everyone else is discriminated, unfortunately. And as you might know, discrimination is bad. Let me tell you that, because I learned that in Sociology 101. That's technology that Afro-American people of Liberia don't have yet. As you can see, human rights are not researched. Additionally, I want to say that there is a plus side to it, because since the country has been founded by people from the United States, we have way better technologies than our neighbors who are also unrecognized powers, who are not decentralized, but let's say countries like Ashanti. Their military capabilities are much lower than ours because of that. So that's a good part of it, but we will have to deal with the fallout of having a dominant culture which is a minority in their own country. And we'll hopefully end that soon. The third part that we will immediately start working with is industrialization. So first of all, I want to start by building a logging camp and a tooling workshop. Tools are good for selling, but tools are also important for all of the industries, so that's a fair investment to make in the beginning. After that, we'll immediately go into iron mines, because having iron lets us do pig iron tools, which increases effectiveness when making tools. Now, as we can see, everything seems to be in order except for our authority. So let's start spending authority by getting road maintenance, which will improve our infrastructure and state construction efficiency. So buildings will be built faster. That's good. Infrastructure right now is not relevant, but it will be soon. We want social mobility, because that will allow our population to become more and more educated. Additionally, we want to promote national values. We will try immediately to end all discrimination in the country, but that will take some time. In the meantime, having at least a few pops become Afro-American and Protestant will help them not experience discrimination. So that is good. Additionally, we want greener grass campaigns, because we want migration. We hopefully, once we pass laws that end the discrimination, hopefully we will get more and more immigrants in the country. And that's the best way to grow in Victoria 3, is getting immigration. Then we will encourage agricultural industry. And the reason for that is most of our industry right now is agricultural. So let's keep encouraging it. Soon enough, once we have some factories built, we can focus on manufacturing. Additionally, there are some powers that we want to kind of become more powerful, and some that we don't really like. So we'll start by reducing the influence of the evangelical church. Unfortunately, in this case, evangelical church is pious, moralist, and patriarchal. And for some reason, they hate multiculturalism. They want state religion to remain the rule of the land, and they even endorse theocracy. So, you know what? No. Nothing that we have planned for Liberia aligns with what the evangelical church wants right now. And we can't go against landowners for now, because they're kind of in power, until we pass the colonial resettlement bill. After that, we can reshape the government. Let's encourage intelligentsia. Oh, we cannot do that because we lack just a few points of authority. Well, in that case, we can just increase the salaries of our bureaucrats. Most of them are intelligentsia anyway. We can also increase the military wages to get some more approval from armed forces, and that costs us literally nothing. So, cheap. And then, to make sure that the radicalism is not growing as much in the country, let's just have very low taxes. The problem with Liberia in the very start of the game is that most people are discriminated against, so they will become radical very fast. Let me just show you how fast that will start. Yep. Just about 1,000 per week. So that will keep growing. Obviously, we still have some loyalists, particularly because we are paying high salaries to bureaucrats. Oh, I can see that the effects of discrimination are currently balanced by the standard of living. Still, we're facing a revolution in the country. We are not a bit of a revolution. If it does happen, then Daddy America will come and kick their ass, and that will weaken these two groups severely. So, keep at it. That is great for us, so we're building a tool factory, and tools are quite expensive in the American market. Hopefully we can take advantage of that soon. Let's see. Colonial enthusiasm. The news that the government intends to pass the colonial resettlement law has created great enthusiasm amongst those that are eager to exploit new and distant lands. So we can say slow down the law isn't signed yet. That will give us more chance to pass it. We will take our rightful place on the world stage. Will give us prestige. Load the ships. We depart for distant shores. That will give us some colony growth speed for a couple of years. I really want to get that. Really, I would love to get that. But essentially, until we get Guinea, I don't think it's worth even trying to colonize. Because we would be getting minus 90%. But that would be balanced by a plus 50, so it would be minus 40 in the end. You know what? Perhaps this could be a sound plan. As long as we pass it quickly. Immediately our standard of living has improved, actually, to 11. That is quite good. Are we matching America's standard of living? No, not yet. We soon will. And perhaps even surpass the United States when it comes to standard of living. Why not? The revolution has been stalled. It is not growing anymore, so we don't need to care that much about it. Does not have the support that the revolutionaries would like it to have. Let's add interest groups to our outliner so we can follow changes in the power between these groups. Yes, we can now bolster intelligentsia. Oh, we now have colonial resettlement. That is great. All right. Well, okay, we can start immediately to colonize the region to the north, which is Guinea. Oh, that will take quite a few years. Yeah, okay, enthusiasm didn't help as much as I wanted to help. Let's still try to colonize there, and if it doesn't work, then we'll just retry. The unfortunate thing is that once we research quinine, it will not change this. So essentially, once we research it, it still might say, for example, 5,000 days, and that's just not worth waiting for. The Americans have started a diplomatic play against Great Sioux Nation. Best of luck to you. Of course, eventually the United States will expand into the native lands. A lot of atrocities play out in this game. Of course, as a player, we do have the ability to at least minimize them. Okay, the revolution is gaining a little bit of speed and then stalling again. So I'm not too worried about it. Iron has great prices in the American market. That is good. And then we want to keep enacting new laws. At the moment, I think labor rights. Let's see, serfdom. No. We're not going there. I do believe that it would be prudent to start thinking about national militia. Pretty much everybody wants to have that. Professional army would add too much power to armed forces. And we could only mobilize 3 more battalions, which is not something we want. We'll depend on national militia instead. So let's go with that. Let's try to pass that law. Industrialists are already rising, even though we don't even have a single workshop. Right. If we go straight for quinine, that will take us about 5 years. Yeah, so I don't think we'll be able to colonize this before we get quinine. That is the truth, the unfortunate truth. Unless, well, if we do get level 2 colonial affairs, then this should ideally be cut in half. Let's see. That will still be extremely slow. I think that will still take up just about 10 years. Right now it's 20 years. Enacting national militia. So far nobody's against it, which is great. Intelligentsia climbing in power. Popular playwright endorses reform. Okay, so in the midst of the debate surrounding national militia, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the rural folk, has staged a widely acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. Okay. I don't know what that play would look like, since it's about national militia, but fine. We can say national militia will be on everyone's lips now, and make it more likely to pass, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna pass it anyway. Oh, we can make rural folk stronger, which is undemocratic, but I don't want to be who will make them strong, because rural folk, they're kind of against a lot of things that we want to pass, so not something we want. Let's go with the plus 20 prestige. Let us ensure the play gets wider international audience. Well, apparently prestige doesn't matter for us since we're still an unrecognized power. Given that we're a US subject. Oh, wait, actually, it did have an effect. Where are we now? We're 106. Yes, we are. Take that, Afghanistan, Tunis, and Shanti. I'm coming for you, United States, we're coming for you. Farming boom. The encouragement of agricultural development in Liberia had led to a small spike in production at our coffee plantations. We should look into using this before it goes to waste. Boost our farmers further. It's kind of a shame that it's slowly making landlords a bit richer and stronger, but for now it is what it is. Let's add a tooling workshop, and hopefully soon enough we can start focusing on manufacturing instead of agriculture. Okay, so we have colonial affairs level 2. Let's see. Yep, so it's still gonna take 10 years. We're gonna get to quinine much faster than that. I wonder if any other powers are currently calling. Oh, yes, they are. France, the Dutch. Oh, hey, we have national militia. Congratulations. So, in case we go to war, we have a much larger military. I think in the meantime, we should actually focus on perhaps improving some relations with France, Great Britain, and the Netherlands. Oh, just France and Great Britain then. We're fine with that. Our iron mine is being built. I think we can already switch to pig iron. Ah, right now it's not an efficient move, so we shall not do that. There's no other ways right now for us to improve the literacy rate, unless we start thinking about kicking out the landowners. As long as landowners are part of the ruling coalition, we can do very little to reduce their power. We can, however, increase the power of other institutions. For example, if we say we want to have dedicated police, local police force would improve the landowners' political strength. That's not something we want. I'm slowly starting to think that we need to kick them out now, because we don't have many laws that we need to pass with their help. Let's see how this would look like. That would be armed forces and intelligentsia. Nope. What about rural folk? And the evangelical church. Then we'll kick out the military. And what would we be able to... You see the difficulty. It's very hard to have a legitimate government without the landowners, but we'll try. Intelligentsia and armed forces, here they come. Okay, so let's try and reduce the power of landowners. First, I would hope we could get rid of appointed bureaucrats. Let's try to go with that. I will also start focusing my attention on reducing the influence of landowners instead of evangelical church. Great. Okay, iron mines built in Liberia. That means big iron tools should be cheaper anytime now. They're not. Right, let's expand our logging camp. Hardwood is a great idea, it seems. We can use sawmills. That will increase demand for tools, and perhaps the increased demand will make it make sense to make big iron tools, but it doesn't. So the wait continues. But perhaps as long as iron is absent in the American market, we can keep mining more and more iron. Appointed bureaucrats so far at 11. It will take some time for this to change, but we have to have the patience, because otherwise the landowners will continue to be a very influential and powerful group. I wonder who else would support this. Petite bourgeoisie, but they're very small in our country. First of all. Second of all, reactionary. That doesn't align well with our goals. A paddle steamer has been invented. Not super relevant to us. Yes, perhaps we can find ways to spend more money. Oh yes, absolutely. Let's add to our construction industry. That's the most important thing you can build with your construction industry. More construction industry. Why not? Diplomatic play. Sego peasant revolt. Start. Stamp out revolution diplomatic play against Sego. What's going on there? Oh. Lathe. I do believe it's lathe. Has been unlocked. I actually had to look it up, and it's sort of a thing that spins and lets you kind of cut away pieces of any sort of pipe or round thing you want to make. So you can make pipes, you can make wooden chair legs, excuse me, and so on. So that is what a lathe or lathe is. The only reason I looked it up is because you can research it in Victoria. I never knew about this. And that means that perhaps we can start looking into making some furniture. Since we have a lot of wood as it is, we're expanding our wood operations even. Perhaps we can build a construction sector and then go with the logging camps. Okay, what's going on with this play? There's a revolution in Sego. And who's winning? It's the revolution. Okay, and what is the goal of this war? Oh, I know how to check it. We go here, and then we can see this war. Okay, so either the revolutionaries will take over, or it's the old guard that takes over. Who are these revolutionaries, though? They are a principality consisting of rural folk, intelligentsia, and trade unions. You have trade unions in there, huh? There's no factories. How can you have trade unions? Well, let's leave it to them to sort this out. Oh, well, as you can see, we have quite a lot of radicals. The number is climbing steadily because of discrimination. Standard of living can only help you so much. So, as you can see, as soon as we know if we're going to enact appointed bureaucrats, we'll be able to start working on ending the discrimination. We just need to lower the landowners' influence in the country, because as long as they are very strongly influential in the country, we cannot hope to pass any laws that would reduce this discrimination that makes our population so radical. Still about 10 years left to colonize this place, and started to think that we'll just have to cancel it as soon as we research quinine. I won't even start building anything here, because as soon as you build something, you know you're gonna lose it. Okay, pharmaceuticals researched, so we can have a health system now. We don't care about that, we really want to colonize. Iron is still quite expensive. I assume that that's why... Oh, now it makes sense to use big iron tools. Alright. Our tooling workshops will become much more effective because of that. Let's see, do we use all the tools we make? Not at all. Not even by far. Do we use all the iron? Yes, we do. That's why expanding the iron mines is quite a good idea. What about wood? Yeah, we need to expand our wood operations here. Mexico began embargoing the United States. Huh. Well, who's embargoing who? As you can see, the United States has 40 million in GDP, while Mexico has just about 5 million. Well, best of luck to you, Mexico. My heart is with you. Okay, this is some good news. So finally we stopped stockpiling money for no reason, and we have started spending enough that we're losing just a little bit. And that's good with me. Ideally, you shouldn't be stockpiling money in this game. You should spend as much as possible to make your country as powerful as it can be. Additionally, if you can, you lower taxes to improve the quality of life, and so on. As you can see, our quality of life is increasing considerably, at least not inconsiderably. Additionally, our literacy rate is growing. We're not the least literate country in the world. Let's stop this now. Devout scandal. It has been revealed that Charles Downing of the Evangelical Church has been having a secret affair with a member of the clergy. His resignation is being demanded. Huh. Well, only it's a secret affair. It's, yeah. Do I call him out for it, or do I ignore it? I don't like Evangelical Church having so much influence, so yep, the people must know of his depravity. There's many ways to be on the wrong side of history in this game. In this particular case, both are wrong. Keeping the evangelical church strong is the lesser evil, I do believe. We have an extremely efficient tooling workshop. Number 32 in the world. Well, what do you know? Famous for our tools, I guess. Right, we're about to see how our appointments will go. Okay, the bureaucratic struggle. Yes, that is good. That is very good. If we take a 10% hit to our bureaucracy, we can increase the success chance and reduce the enactment time. And that's definitely something I want to have. Thank you so much. Now, as we're nearing the passing of appointed bureaucrats, the landowners are starting to get worried. Now they're mobilizing around the idea of hereditary bureaucrats. Hopefully that will not become a revolution. They are quite strong. But in case it does, America will come and bust us out. So it's fine. Who's the president? President Elie Augustus Frederick Lafayette. Sovereign planters. Not Lincoln. Oh, maybe it's... We should wait 20 years for Lincoln, I guess. Okay, Britain is improving relations with us. Their attitude is cautious, while the French attitude is genial. That is good for us. Not that I'm looking for friends in Europe, but they're going to be quite close to me. Let's see diplomatic lens. As you can see, they're crawling closer through here and through here. I don't like either of these, but I will be trying to expand into the north so that I can take up as much land as possible. Ideally, my goal will be to take over this part. And then I can slowly start annexing Huta Jalon, Carta, Sego, and Messina. And before I do that, I must have separation of church and state because these countries are heavily Muslim. And if we're intolerant towards Muslims, then we'll have a huge issue. So even those populations that are not Muslims, they're animist. So either way, I will have to learn how to be more tolerant, and hopefully we can change that in our country. And enacting appointed bureaucrats is part of that puzzle, as that will weaken the landowners. Okay, we got mass communication, plus 10% authority. That's always nice. Not particularly necessary at the moment. Okay, so as we can see, the landowners are slowly losing their power, while some other groups are gaining power. The evangelical church, I'm not a huge fan of. Rural folk, keeping just about where they started. Industrialists are suddenly shooting up. Perhaps that means that we can include them in our government. No, they don't mesh well with somebody. If that's the military. Oh yeah, if I kick out the armed forces and include industrialists, what about the laws? Okay, yes, let's go this way because I don't think armed forces are pro or anti appointed bureaucrats anyway. And the petite bourgeoisie is just not strong enough right now to help us with this. Okay, we are almost done building a chair. Furniture manufacturer. I always call it chair manufacturer because it's just a chair. Okay, that's where we can start using our lathes and even do some luxury furniture production, since we do produce quite a bit. and bam, productivity is growing. And I think at this point we can leave it here, and I hope that you come back next to see how we continue expanding and deeper into the Mandinka territory as we try to prevent everyone else from grabbing up all of this land so we can have a big, nice Liberia and West Africa.